Good afternoon. We're back with another episode of the Lord of the Rings LCG Progression Series. And today is a card review of the Drowned Ruins Adventure Pack. So we're returning to the Dream Chaser cycle after the Flame of the West saga box from the Lord of the Rings saga. Let's take a look. The hero for this adventure pack is a lore hero, Argalad. 9 threat, 2/2/1, 4 health, ranged. So his stats aren't very good. Action, exhaust Argalad to choose an enemy in the staging area. Till the end of the phase, that enemy gets minus X threat, where X is Argalad's attack power. If this effect reduces the enemy's threat to 0, deal 1 damage to it. Interesting. While direct damage has a place, there are some quests that require it. Being able to do direct damage to enemies in the staging area before they can engage. His threat is relatively low, but not that low. But he could have a place in a deck in the past when I would have used like Haldir or even Ranger Bows to defeat a quest, and I have used Ranger Bows to defeat a very difficult quest in the past. Argalad could have a place in such a deck. He's definitely not a just flat out good hero. He's a niche hero, his niche being direct damage 1. Direct damage on its own is not that good. So he would need to be used in combination with other direct damage. And you wouldn't play him just for his stats, certainly. So he has a place as like a supporting hero. In a direct damage deck, that's about the only use for him I see, and I don't think even in that deck he would be essential. He might be good in that deck, he might improve it a little bit, but he wouldn't be the guy that you build the deck around. So overall, a lower tier hero, even in a niche deck, and pretty useless hero in a non-niche deck, in a deck that's just running good cards or other kinds of synergies. He's not going to be a hero of the quality of, say, a Denethor or Círdan or something like that, who you can build a deck around. Because he doesn't generate resources, he doesn't draw cards, he doesn't have very good stats. So, but a niche hero, and could be decent in a direct damage deck. But probably not a deck that's going to be used super often. Dwarven Sellsword. 1 cost, 2/2/2, 3 health. At the end of the round, discard Dwarven Sellsword, unless the players as a group spend 1 resource. So he increases in cost each turn. Well, you could use him like a feint. Like, people will pay 1 cost to just eat an attack. I think this is a pretty good card. Because you could use it like a feint, you also have the option of having it stick around if you have extra resources. Or one cost for 2 willpower, or 1 cost for 2 attack, or 1 cost to eat an attack. And then the option of having it stick around. I think this card's pretty good. And if you're running it with Dane, it just gets better. Or Diane. Although he doesn't see much use anymore. So I think this is a fine card. Although I probably wouldn't see it sticking around for the rest of the game. But in terms of one-term use cards, it matches the power of something like Feint. So does Ranger of Cardolan, which has similar stats for 1 cost, but this card has the option of sticking around, so I actually like it better than Ranger of Cardolan. Although Ranger of Cardolan has you can pay 4 for it to have it stick around forever. For 4 cost, you can have Dwarven Sellsword stick around for 3 turns after you play it. But I like this card. It's pretty good. It's not exceptional. It's not overpowered, but it's solid. Dunadine Remedy. 0 cost attached to a hero after Dunadine Remedy is attached to a hero. Heal 1 damage on that hero. Pay 1 resource from attached hero's resource pool to attach Dunadine Remedy to another hero. It's pretty good for healing out of the leadership sphere. Yeah, I mean, it's limited in its usage if you don't have multiple heroes taking damage. Because you have to pay 1 resource to attach it to a different hero. Heal that hero for 1, but if you don't have 2 heroes taking damage, well, then it's going to be useless every other turn, and you're going to be paying 2 resources for basically 1 healing every other turn. That's not good. But if you had two heroes taking damage, then this is quite good. But that's a niche use. It's going to be not that often that this is the case. So this card is very limited in its ideal usage. And its ideal usage is just okay. Not phenomenal, but okay. Marksman of Lauren, 3 cost, 0/3/0, 2 health. After Marksman of Lauren enters play, choose an enemy. That enemy gets -2 shields until the end of the round. That's a great card when you need attack. If you're running tactics and you need some attack power, that's a great card. 3 attack for 3 cost is good, and -2 shields on the turn you play it till the end of the round. That's quite good. Especially in multiplayer, this is a very good card. But in solo, I'd play it anytime I need attack power. It's very good. Well worth running. Most especially in a Sylvan deck, but since the new Eowyn's come out, and she's in tactics, and so she's going to see a lot of play, I'd consider this as a way to spend those tactics resources. Marksman of Lauren, I think this is a very solid card for battling. Obviously doesn't do much for questing or shielding, but it's very good for battling. And only gets better in multiplayer with that ranged. Battle Fury, 1 cost, play only before the staging step. Quest action, exhaust a hero you control to immediately declare it as an attacker and resolve its attack against any eligible enemy target. Then the players as a group may spend 1 spirit resource to commit that hero to the quest. So you use it against an enemy who's left over from last turn because you use it before staging. This is okay. It's cheap. Against any eligible enemy target, does that mean you cannot attack something in staging? Because those wouldn't be eligible. I'd say this is a multiplayer focused card, considering well, at least it's got its eyes on multiplayer. With this, players as a group may spend 1 spirit resource. Yeah, I don't know if that makes it really a multiplayer focused card. I have not been shy about the fact that I don't play a lot of one-time use cards. They have to be really, really good. They either have to allow me to put something permanent into play, or provide some specific thing that I can't get from permanent effects, such as threat reduction, that I need. This doesn't really fit that bill. I don't consider it that strong. I don't consider it strong enough to overcome its disadvantage, which is that it's a one-time use card. But the effect is fine. I like the effect when it's on ambush, the trap. But it's not going to be... It's going to sit in the hand before you get a chance to use it. And I'm not sure in a solo deck if I'd play it if I didn't have access to the Spirit Sphere. But it's fine. It's another option for battle cards, which I likely won't use much. Woodland Courier, 2 cost, 1101. After Woodland Courier enters play, place 1 progress on a location. 2 progress instead if that location has the forest trait. Well, this card could be useful in a Sylvan deck where you get 2 willpower for 2 cost, but otherwise, I think it's underpowered. The 2 progress for a forest trait could be useful in some quests. But generally, if you weren't running Sylvans and you didn't need it for a specific forest location, I wouldn't use it. I'd go for a 2 willpower for 2 cost character. In a Sylvan deck, it's probably worth a look, though. Because Sylvans cycle them cards in and out of the hand, and so you could maybe play this a couple of times. I think this is worth a look in the Sylvan deck. That's probably what its intent is. Marksman of Lauren also gets better in a Sylvan deck. So we're seeing some cards that add to the Sylvan synergy in this adventure pack. But outside of that usage where you need to clear a specific forest location or you're playing a Sylvan deck, it's a weak card. Hithlane. 1 cost attached to a location, limit 1 per location. After a player plays a Sylvan ally from his hand, place 1 progress on attached location. Interesting. Is that good? Well, let's say you got 2 progress out of it. Typically, you're not leaving locations in the staging area for very long. So, let's say you played this, and then how many Sylvans would you really have the chance to play before the location would be clear? 1 or 2, probably? This could be useful for very specific challenges if you're playing a Sylvan deck and you find you've encountered some horrifying location that needs to be cleared and you don't really have a way to do it. And the quest design is such that the location will be there for a couple of turns. Then this card could be good. Or if there are other synergies, for example, I think there's a synergy coming where you benefit based on the number of attachments on a location or something like that. But absent that, I think you're likely to only get 1 or 2 progress on a location for this, on your average location, and that's not very good. 1 cost for 1 or 2 progress on an active location isn't very good. Relative to other cards such as Asphaloth, which place 2 progress on a location every turn. So I'd rather set up to use that or something similar to that if I was going to be placing progress on locations. I think the usage where you attach this to a location, then every turn you're playing Sylvans and adding progress to it is rare, because usually you're just moving to the location and clearing it with questing progress. So this is a slow card, too slow to be played regularly. Interrogation, 1 cost. Choose an enemy with an attached trap card. Look at the top X cards of the encounter deck where X is that enemy's threat. You may discard 1 of those cards, return the rest to the top of the deck in the same order. Well, I'm not a huge fan of cards that look at the top of the encounter deck. But the you may discard 1 of those cards is very strong. I would very strongly consider running this in a trap deck. I at least want to play test it, because that effect does seem pretty good to me. I like it. And you return the rest to the top of the deck in the same order so you know what's coming, and you get to get rid of 1 of them, and there's no restriction on it. It doesn't say you can't get rid of a unique boss or a unique location or something, so this could be very, very good if you're able to get rid of something big that you couldn't deal with. I like this card for a trap deck. I'm definitely going to at least play test it. Even though it's a one-time use card, the ability to discard a important card from the encounter deck is quite that's quite a good effect. So I will run this in a trap deck, at least to try it out. I think it's quite good. Strider. 1 cost, attached to a hero. While you control 2 or fewer heroes, attached hero does not exhaust to commit to the quest. I don't think I've ever controlled 2 or fewer heroes. While you control 5 or fewer characters, attached hero gets +2 willpower. I think the only time I've controlled 2 or fewer heroes is when I was forced to. Like, for example, Escape from Dol Guldur or Escape from Mount Graham. But other than that, when you control 5 or fewer characters, that's pretty rare with the decks I play. I don't like non-permanent effects, which means I run decks pretty heavy in allies. So I think I would use this card specifically to overcome a challenge, maybe in like Escape from Dol Guldur. Because this could be quite good in overcoming the nightmare version of that quest. But otherwise, I don't think it's very good. Outside of its niche use, I don't think I'd run it. But in its niche use, it could be very helpful. Stick it on a hero, one of your heroes in Dol Guldur, and then he doesn't exhaust to commit to the quest. That's good. If you had Light of the Valinor and Glorfindel and another hero, they could both quest and not exhaust. That'd be good for that quest. But otherwise, I don't think it's very good. So that is the Drowned Ruins, and I would say this adventure pack has cards for specific challenges, but nothing super strong. Marksman of Lauren may be the best card in the adventure pack. But other than that, Woodland Courier is okay. I don't think you'd miss it. Strider could be useful though. In Dol Guldur or Escape from Mount Graham. But overall, weaker expansion or a weaker adventure pack. And probably easily ignored if you're not a completionist or buying it for the quest or whatnot. So thank you for watching.